Climate change is a long-term shift of a weather or a temperature to our world. We fight climate change by start recalibrating our mind, redirecting ourselves. And as students, I will follow the 4R. Reduce, reuse, recycle, and restore to make the world a better place. And more, we fight climate change that we all know that the temperature during winter and the summer did not follow in a month that we expect. Like now, on the month of January, we assume that it is summer, but during our era or a time, the temperature is so cold. We, the one who can fight the climate change. Let us all be united. Let's clean our surrounding. Let's plant more trees, and moreover, the problem of our Mother Earth is not the waste surround us, but we people don't have discipline. We throw garbage anywhere, we cut trees everywhere, and most of all, we know that the students or a youth is a hope of tomorrow. So let us start the beginning and the change to us.
Climate change o pagbabago ng klima. Yung pagbabago ng klima ay tayo rin ang siyang gumagawa. Tao rin ang siyang nagkagawaran kung ba't nagkakaroon ng mga hindi ka nais-nais na pangyayari. Tulad na lang ng ating mga ginagawa ay ang pagputol ng mga halaman, mga pagputol ng mga puno at mga pagsunog ng mga plastik. Hindi na natin naiiwasan ang paggawa ng mga bagay nito na siya nakakasira ng ating kalikasan. Na ang dating sariwang hangin ay ating na ngayon nang hindi natitikman. Tayo mga Pilipino o tayong mga tao ay napaka malikhaing tao na alin na rin nagagawang rumihan ang ating sariling kalikasan. Ang pagbabago ng klima ay isa sa pinaka-problema o isang problema na ating tayong mga Pilipino. Nagbabago ang ating mga klima. Tulad nga ng ating klima, ng ating mga hangin ay hindi na sariwa ng tulad ng dati. Sa pagbabago ng ating klima ay tayo ang siyang gumawa. Ngunit sa panahon ngayon, kailangan natin baguhin ang ating klima. Baguhin natin sa malinis na paraan, sa pagtatanim ng mga puno, paglilinis ng mga kapaligiran, at isa sa pag-alaga ng ating mga kalikasan. Ang pagbabago ng klima ay tayo ang siyang gumawa. Kaya kung nais natin baguhin ang ating klima, tayo rin ang siyang gagawa. Tayo nga ang siyang gumagawa kung bakit nga ba nagbabago ang ating klima. Tayo ang siyang sumisira sa ating mga magagandang tanawin. Tayo ang siyang sumisira sa mga hangin na napakasarap lang hapin. Ang pagbabago ng klima ay isa sa ating mga problemang napakalaki na ating ngayon nagdadaanan. Dahil tayo rin mismo mga tao ang siyang gumagawa nito at siyang sumisira sa ating kalikasan.
The backbone of a stable nation, socially and politically, is agriculture. Agriculture is the largest sector that provides a nation with food and employment. Agriculture is currently being affected by climate change, and at the same time, it is also a contributor to climate change.
Climate change is affecting agriculture by interfering with the efficiency of crop production. Agriculture is facing droughts, flooding, sea level elevation, natural disaster, and hazard for employees. All of this exponent leads to crop failure that creates famines and food prices to rise.
The challenge is intensified by agriculture's extreme vulnerability to climate change. Climate change negative impacts are already being felt in the form of increasing temperatures, weather variability, shifting of agri-ecosystem boundaries, invasive crops and pests, and more frequently extreme weather events.
On farm, climate change is reducing crop yields, the nutritional quality of major cereals, and lowering livestock productivity. Substantial investments in adoption will be required to maintain current yields and to achieve production and food quality and increase to meet demand.
All living things are being affected, but the biosphere of land and water. Moving on the marine life sector, one of the effects of climate change is the rising of the sea level. The rising of the sea level may be caused by the rise of the normal temperature of the Earth's atmosphere. In result, some communities may be flooded and freshwater aquifers may be contaminated, thus affecting the agricultural water supply and natural ecosystems.
Another aftermath of climate change of the marine life is the melting of glaciers and the collapse of ice sheets. This natural phenomenon due to climate change can result in the increase of coastal erosion and the elevation of storm surge. This situation can also lead to the rising of the sea level and can affect the freshwater content of an area. Moreover, the deterioration of many marine species has a high possibility of occurring as another result.
Furthermore, climate change can result to ocean acidification, which is the loss of carbonate ions, which is an important component to build and maintain calcium-based structures, such as shell and coral that can lead to the growth limitations of the marine life. This can further lead to the decrease of storm protection from reefs, tourism opportunities, and other areas that are helpful for the economy of the country.
Lastly, when it comes to the marine biodiversity, this sector is never exempted from the aftermath of climate change. Due to the rising of the temperature, some species can adapt to this change. However, some are forced to migrate to the other places in order to survive. What's worse is that other species were observed to have disappeared. Another situation is that when marine life is being disturbed on coastal areas, particular coastal habitats like mangroves and seagrass beds, which are vital breeding grounds of many species, are greatly affected.
Change is really an inevitable phenomenon. The side effects of climate change are only some of its harsh impacts. Its consequences are already embedded in our daily lives. On different aspects of life, at present, one can see and feel the fruit of our labors. We can now face all the harsh calamities of climate change. Finally, thanks to us, the world soon will be.
Right now, we're facing a man-made disaster of global scale. Our greatest threat in thousands of years, climate change. If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon. The world's people have spoken. Their message is clear. Time is running out.
We already see effects scientists predicted, such as the loss of sea ice, melting glaciers and ice sheets, sea level rise, and more intense heat waves. Scientists predicted global temperature increase from human-made greenhouse gases will continue. Severe weather damage will also increase and intensify. Global climate change is not a future problem. Changes to Earth's climate driven by increased human emission of heat-trapping greenhouse gases are already having widespread effect on the environment. Glaciers and ice sheets are shrinking. River and lakes ice is breaking up earlier. Plant and animal geographic ranges are shifting, and plants and trees are blooming sooner. Effects that scientists had long predicted would result from global climate change are now occurring, such as sea ice loss, accelerated sea level rise, and longer, more intense heat wave. Some changes such as drought, wildfires, and extreme rainfall are happening faster than scientists previously assessed. The severity of effects caused by climate change will depend on the path of future human activities. More greenhouse gases emission will lead to more climate extreme and widespread damaging effects across our planet. However, those future effects depend on the total amount of carbon dioxide we emit. So, if we can reduce emission, we may avoid some of the worst effects.
Simply put, if we don't protect nature, we can't protect ourselves.
The only way we can solve a problem is by a human solution. Never can we sit back and wait for miracles to save us. Miracles don't happen. Sweat happens. Efforts happens. Thought happens.
This could be the warmest year on record, and this is what it looks like in one of the coldest places on Earth. The Arctic summer has come to an end, yet there's no snow on the ground. Instead, the night before it rained, and the temperature is several degrees above the sub-freezing average for early autumn.
Effects of climate change in Antarctica. Melting ice sheets. One of the most immediate and obvious effects of climate change in Antarctica is melting ice sheets. As temperatures rise, the ice sheets are melting at a faster rate, resulting in raised sea levels at the disappearance of some of the continent's iconic glaciers. Changes in atmospheric circulation. Climate change has also caused changes in circulation patterns of the atmosphere in Antarctica. This could lead to more extreme weather events and changes in air temperatures. Thawing permafrost. Permafrost in Antarctica is thawing as a result of climate change, which can destabilize the ground and create sinkholes. It can also release carbon dioxide and methane, which are powerful greenhouse gases that contribute to global warming.
Climate change is having a major impact on Canada. Rising temperatures, melting glaciers, and rising sea levels are causing many changes to the environment, economy, and people of Canada. The most significant impacts of climate change in Canada are warming temperatures. Average temperatures across Canada have risen by 1.7 degrees Celsius since 1948, and this trend is expected to continue as greenhouse gas concentrations in the atmosphere rise. Melting glaciers. Glaciers in Canada are melting at an unprecedented rate, with some glaciers losing up to half their volume in the last 50 years. This is leading to decrease water availability in some areas and increase flood risk in others. Rising sea levels. Sea levels along the coast of Canada are expected to rise by up to 1 meter by the end of this century. This could lead to increased coastal flooding, erosion, and habitat loss. Changes in weather patterns. Climate change is leading to increased frequency and intensity of extreme weather events, such as heat waves, drought, and floods. This can have impact on agriculture, water availability, infrastructure, and public health. Loss of biodiversity. Climate change is causing many species of plants and animals to extinct or more to new.
Climate change affects all regions around the world. In some regions, extreme weather events and rainfall are becoming more common while others are experiencing more extreme heat waves. We need climate change action now, or these impacts will only intensify, like Bangladesh's coastal communities and island nations are among those facing the highest risks associated with the climate crisis due to the rising sea levels. Much like Philippines, Bangladesh has been fighting the effects of climate change for decades, leaving it number 7 on German Watch Climate Risk Index. For cumulative risk between 2000 and 2019, they also facing different struggles that may cause 1 out of every 7 people in Bangladesh to be displaced from their homes.
Contemplating the future has never been more frightening for 52-year-old widow Evangeline Roa. Typhoon Bopha not only destroyed the banana plantation she worked on, it also washed away her home. She feels everything around her is changing, and there's nothing she can do about it. This is the first time in my whole life I have ever experienced anything like this, she says. We don't even understand what the storm warning signals mean, so this is how difficult the storm is. It's no joke.
Typhoons are not common in this part of the Philippines, but the people that live here are now being told that because of global warming, they should expect more typhoons like Bopha, and that this is now the new normal.
The climate is changing right now. The change cannot just be attributed to natural variation. According to the evidence currently available, according to the most recent scientific evaluation, human actions, including as the burning of fossil fuels and changes in land use, are to blame for the documented increase in greenhouse gas concentration that has been detected in the climate system. Since the middle of the 20th century, mankind and the environment are currently facing and will continue to face with significant challenges as a result of current warming. Although some autonomous adaptation is occurring now, we need to think of a more proactive adaptation planning strategy to guarantee sustainable growth.
The effect of climate change has already been present, but what we can do to slow down its effect can be the following. Number 1. Shift to renewable energy source in all key sectors. Number 2. Halt deforestation and commit to rebuilding damaged ecosystem. Number 3. Embrace electric vehicles, public transport, and other non-motorized options for getting around. Number 4. Address poverty and other inequalities that increase vulnerability. Number 5. Invest in disaster risk reduction. Number 6. Commit to fair financing and climate. They are all solutions that can slow down the effect of climate change. We cannot stop climate change, but we can help in slowing it down in its effect in our community.